What's up guys, my name is Luke and welcome back to Motion and Design. So I'm going to record 2 videos in one day, get them both done. The next video that I wanted to do was this kind of like liquid flame effect that they had in it. They had it a few times. It kind of looked like, I don't know, to me at least, it looked like a kind of liquid flame effect. And so I thought I would try recreate something like that. In the actual Oppenheimer one, it does look a little bit more like particles, so you could be able to get a better result with particles. But I felt like the result that I got came pretty close, and I don't know, I thought it looked pretty cool, so it was different enough that I liked it. So yeah, if you guys are interested in the project files, they will be up on Patreon, and if not, a like and subscribe goes a long way. But yeah, let's get straight into this. Cool, so I'm just going to close this for now. Let's go and add a cube. Let's bring this down, bring it like that, and let's go simulate and pyrometer. Cool, if we had to press play now, we get some pyro, and that looks cool, but that's not really what we're wanting. We wanted to kind of create this like spinning motion. So just before I start, there's going to be 2 effects that I'll show you guys in here. So yeah, stick around later on, or just skip to later on, depending on which effect you're looking for. This one I'm going to show you the more spinning around effect, and the second one's going to be the one where it's kind of like moving away, and I'll have the visual up on screen so you guys can see. But yeah, let's go to our scene and let's turn off gravity. So if I had to press play now, it's just going to be a block. Cool, so that's kind of what we want. Let's go to simulation, forces, rotation, and let's rotate our rotation 90 degrees. And if we had to press play now, awesome, we get some spinning motion. So at the moment you can see that half of it is going this way and half of it is going this way. We don't really want that. We want this entire thing to go in one direction. So all we need to do is just move this down to the base. And if we press play again, now we get this nice spinning motion, which is exactly what we want. Cool, so yeah, I'm just going to keep it like this. Let's just spin it 270 degrees. Nope. And now it's moving the direction that I wanted to move in. Cool, so this is pretty cool, but it doesn't look very great. The reason for that is our voxel count. So we have to set this to something like 3. Press play. Now we have a lot more detail, which I think looks a lot nicer. Cool, I think in my render I made this a lot smaller, probably around like 1.5 or 2. Yeah, you can see that we get a lot more detail the lower we bring down the voxels. And yeah, I think that looks quite nice. So when doing this, this can be quite render intensive. So we can bypass that a bit by using a destructor. I think it is a destructor, let's see. Yes, it is a destructor. Cool, so we can just set this to invert, and now what's going to happen is that it's going to delete everything that's not within this field. So the reason that we're going to do this is that we're not seeing everything. We're going to set up our camera in a way that we are only seeing a bit of this. So let's just press play, let it render a bit, so like that. So we're only going to see like a little bit. Actually, maybe 50. Cool. So that's all we're going to see. So we can have it that it gets cut off over here. So now we're only simulating within this little box over here. It just does save a lot of render times and also cache times. Cool. So we don't want it that, we have to start over here and then we go all the way there. We want it to start already over here. So we can do that by going Command D into our pyro, and we can say set initial state. This will just create a cache of just this one frame, and now if we have to go back to frame 0, press play, we're going to start over there, which is exactly what we want. Cool, let's go and make this look nice. Cool, let's press render, and at the moment you won't see anything. Let's go material, pyro volume, and put this onto our pyro output. And now look, we have some fire going on. Maybe I want to make this a little bit smaller. I think I need to clear my initial state. Okay, set initial state. Let's go back. Let's see, does that give us a little bit more detail? Yeah, then that gives us a little bit more detail. I might actually even bring down the voxel size a little bit more when it comes to like the actual rendering stage of it. But for now, this is fine. Cool. So at the moment, this looks quite nice, but you know, it's not really the colors that we're looking for. So let's go and change this. I'm going to turn up my scattering coefficient by a bit, just so that we get a little bit more light coming through. Just like looking at the references, it was kind of like that. It wasn't like pitch dark at the end. Then let's go over here to our emission mode, and let's set this, instead of black body, we're going to set this to color ramp. And now it's going to just follow this color ramp over here. So we're going to use some kind of like orangey red color, something. I think this needs to be redder, more orange. Yeah, I think that's closer to the reference. And when looking at the reference, one thing that I noticed is that it felt really flat, as if we were looking at liquid. So you can do that, you know, could do a liquid sim, but I found that I could get that type of flat look just by adding a plane over here, creating material, and just making this material a transmissive material. Let's remove our roughness, and now look, it literally flattened out our image and made this look a lot more like liquid. It's definitely a way of cheating it, but it gave me the look I was looking for. And just like the first version of this, first tutorial of this, none of these are the correct way of doing that. It's just how I figured out a way to give a similar result to what I was trying to achieve. And again, in 3D, I don't really know if there is a right way or a wrong way. I mean, there definitely are wronger ways and better ways of doing things, but at the end of the day, if the render looks how you want it to look, that's really all that matters. And yeah, just like that, I think this looks pretty cool. I think I would just change up the colors a bit and spend a little bit more time refining, but I think something like that is close enough for what we are trying to achieve here. You can also mess with the absorption a little bit more if you want it to be brighter in certain areas or darker. Yeah, mess around to get the effect that you're looking for. But I think something like this looks quite nice, especially if in post we add a little bit more glow. I mean, we could go here and just add some bloom to it, just bring down our threshold by a bit. And just like that, we have a pretty cool looking render, which is exactly what we wanted. And yeah, just messing around a little bit more with the camera, finding what you want it to look like. I mean, I had two shots in it. The one was from the side and the other one was just facing like this. And I think the only difference was that I just messed around a little bit with the texture just so there was a little bit more variation. But yeah, just like that, we have a really cool effect. Cool, so let's jump on to the next part of this tutorial where I'm going to show you the other part of this. So we can close this for now. Let's open up a new scene. Let's create a box over here. And let's just make this editable and we can delete our top. Let's go and add a sphere in here. And let's make this like 30. With our sphere, let's go display, render, display. And let's just make this lines over here. Cool, so if we had to go simulations, pyrometer, and then on our cube over here, say simulations and collider. So at the moment, the flame's just gonna go up, which isn't really what we want. Let's also go to our cube over here, and let's just make it a bit bigger and a bit wider. And let's go to simulations, forces, and gravity. So let's set this to -981, and this should flip around our gravity, or just keep it in the exact same way. And maybe if I rotate the gravity over here, that will give me the, yeah, that's the effect I'm looking for. And if we had to go here and turn off our gravity, now it will follow this gravity over here. Cool. So how I got this effect was I just used a camera underneath a collider like this. Let's go and set this to 90, 90, and let's just center each of these out. Cool. So at the moment, this doesn't look very great. The reason for that is you'll see that we're getting this dissipation, which isn't really giving us this kind of liquid look to it. So we can go Command D into our pyro. Let's go into our density over here and let's turn these off. Cool. And now you'll see what will happen is that the smoke's going to land and it's going to continue to move out. Let's maybe just increase this a bit more. I think something like that's good. So another thing that we want to see a little bit more of is the actual color coming through. So let's go to our temperature and let's turn off this dissipation to maybe like, see what 3 looks like. And now you'll see that we're keeping a lot more of the color because that's staying there a little bit longer. Let's go to our voxel size. Let's set that to about 2. Now we get a lot more detail in it. Cool. So I think this is a good frame to start with. Actually, let's just make it 1. Okay, cool. Let's go with this frame over here. Let's see what this looks like. Same thing. Let's go and actually, let's save some time. Let's just use the exact same texture that we just made and put this onto our pyro. And let's also hide our cube. Let's just go back to frame 60. I wonder why it's being so slow now. It was so fast a second ago. Maybe if I close this. Did I just take this off this? I don't know if that's going to make a difference to the speed of it. Seems like it did make a difference to the speed of it for some reason. Cool, let's see what this looks like. Cool, so that's looking kind of cool. I think we can make it a bit cooler. Let's turn up our scatter coefficient just so that more light is let through. Yeah, something like that is looking pretty cool. Let's also just go to our temperature over here and set this to maybe like 2.5 over there. Let's see what that looks like. Nice, I think we're getting a lot more color in over there. And then let's go and zoom in. Cool, and just like that, we have something that looks pretty cool, I do say so. Kind of looks like an angel, to be honest. You know, we got the wings over there. Yeah, but yeah, that is pretty much how I got this effect. So again, we don't want to simulate all of that up to the beginning over there. So let's go and say set initial state. Again, it'll create a initial state of just that. And now when we press play again, we'll start at that frame. And let's see how that looks like. Cool. And yeah, that looks pretty cool. We could change up some things over here to get some different results. Seeing this is something I call that is way too high, like 20. Let's add a lot more light. That looks pretty cool. But I do think that a lower amount did work a little better. Oh, we can also, this was, oh, it is hidden. Oh, yes, another thing with this one. So at the moment, if we had to get out of our camera over here and look at what's happening, we still have this ball over here. And if we had to play this, it's moving actually pretty fast. So what I want to do is I only want it to, let's go clear this. Let's start again. Let's look at what point, I think there. So at around frame 40, let's go over here and turn this off. So that'll stop us from having this very bright middle spot over there. And something like that is good. Then let's go over here and say set initial state. Then we can also, we can bring this to the back for there. Will this work now? Let's see. Yeah, I can. Cool. Let's go back over here and let's set this time scale to like something like 0.2. And now we get this really cool slow moving effect. And again, I think you would have to go in over here and just change up how the texture is, just to get it to a point where you are happy with it. But yeah, that is pretty much the baseline of how I got this effect. Doesn't look perfect right now. I think that's just because of the fact that I need to spend a little bit more time in the texture over here, creating something that's, you know, works for what I'm trying to do. I also think another thing that could help it is maybe if we had to turn off our temperature dissipation completely. Still a similar effect, but we're getting a lot more detail in the middle there, which is what I wanted. Let's see if we had to make this less dark. So if we get a little bit more absorption there, or not dissipation. That is cool. Definitely not what we're looking for, but really cool. So yeah, that's pretty much how I did it. Yeah, I think that actually looks pretty cool. It's a little bit different to mine, but I think it's because when doing simulations, there's so many different things and settings that you can change to get different results. But yeah, this is pretty much how I did it. And the main thing, what it comes down to, is just messing with the texture over here. Messing around with different things until you create an effect that you like. You can also spice this up a little bit more if you're wanting to make it a little bit more your own by, you know, adding some color. Oh, looks kind of cool. You could just add like colors in like little places. Or in a little, I mean, it's not showing anywhere. It's only showing our main color. I swear I was able to get it to where I could do multiple colors, but maybe I'm wrong. Although there is definitely a way to do multiple colors. But obviously I don't know how to do that right now. But it's pretty much doing it like this. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Again, if you're interested in the project files, they'll be up on Patreon. But if not, a like and a subscribe does go a long way. Cool. Cheers, and I'll see you next week.